Okay, so we are about to break down the Ari Lennox archetype. As soon as I find my black and the lighter that light, I got two lighters. One of them is tripping, the orange one tripping, but the kaleidoscope one is tripping less. So we gonna see. Now, to me, the Ari Lennox archetype is not a complicated one, but it's not one I've taken the time to define. I do know she's an Aries, so that makes me wonder what type of chaos is she dispelling in her life. I think her chaos is that of her emotional expression and her dating habits. I think those are two areas in which she's chosen chaos. I think she's. Cause one thing I will say, people often associate chaos with an erraticness, and that bothers me. And they associate fire signs with erratic too. And I'm like, if you think about it in terms of a bonfire or a standing fire, they don't always spark and they don't always grow and shrink at random, unpredicted intervals. And that's what erratic would be, a flame that's just basically a sparkler, excuse me, just popping everywhere. That would be erratic. I would say it's a composed, intentional chaos. That's something I see with fire signs a lot. I think they like to play off of the chaos to the point of erraticness, but I don't think they're innately erratic. I think it's just them trying to show you they can handle erraticness. I would say they can wield erraticness, but if that was the case, they would wield it consistently, and chaos would rarely be their resort. Because for Aries, you would expect them to take it to 10 and be erratic because they can handle being erratic and then taking it back to zero again without using their sanity. I mean, without losing their sanity about how they were projected just now. So it's like as a Aries, you could go from 0 to 10, from calm to erratic, and then back to sane, and still be content with the fact that you didn't project yourself in a way that goes against your character or complete personality. Like I didn't go against the brand. This is a part of my brand, and if I did go against the brand, then fuck it, because that's who I am. Like as a fire sign, you would make that stance. I am going to explode when I feel like I need to, and that is the term that you must agree to being in my life. But I also feel like when you choose a life of chaos and erraticness, you have a certain level of clarity in your communication. So you are warning people that you're going to explode. You're not just finding yourself having a blow up. At the very least, you're introducing yourself to people as someone who will randomly explode, so don't test them. I feel like when you say don't test me, you need to be like, I am a bomb, and by testing me, you are detonating me. So you need to understand there is no testing period that doesn't come with an explosion. And that's what I think y'all need to say. Like, I'm lethal. It's not just that I'm deadly, I am lethal. If you test me, I will kill you. And it's not literally, there is some part of you that is going to die from you thinking you were allowed to do that thing to me or ask that question. You will never again feel the same. And that's past gaslighting, but Aries and fire signs do bring the propane. So it's like I'm actually adding some gasoline to the fire that is myself. So wait until I start to really wield something. Because right now I'm the fire and I'm stable or whatever temperature and level I'm at. But when I add this propane, I'm going to explode. And it's like you need to understand I'm going to take things worse than you think I will, and they'll be worse than I think they will because I want you to know I'm going to crazy land. I am going to 10 because 10 is where I've chosen to go. I want to show you never take me to 10 again, but I will get there. And it's really like a bluff that is actually just like a fail safe. I want you to know I will get crazy, so don't push me because I don't want to get crazy. So you're like, if I douse myself in gasoline and set myself on fire, you'll realize I'm a crazy ass bitch who doesn't want to be this crazy. It's damn near like that psychotic ass when the person in the movie is hysterical, like, don't you see I don't want to be like this? When the villain of the relationship is like, don't you see I don't want to be like this? Like I can't help it. I'd say that's what fire signs are. And I think that fire signs are looking for the person who can understand what testing means to them. But I think fire signs are also, unfortunately, still trying to define what it means to be tested, which comes into Ari Lennox's career because she spent a lot of time as an independent artist fortifying her craft, fortifying her tool. So her tool is kind of like a sword or something in a fire because after you make something with metal or you do like steel working, or you're working, well, I'll say metal or steel working, you have to put it in the fire to burn off all the impurities and you got to let it sit there for a little. And it's like curing. So I'd say at the beginning of her career, she's independent and she's trying to make sure that she's fortified. But then when she enters the actual music industry, it puts her career to the test. It puts her weapon to the test. So I spent all this time having my pen, because we'll say it's a pen because she writes her own lines. I spent all this time having my pen in the fire. Think of it as a calligraphy pen. something she respects, something that's historic, like it's based off of a solid premise. She's studying the music and she's implementing it. So her pen would be one that comes with music theory. Like it's not just that I write well, I'm well studied. What you're seeing is my expertise. This is not just a gift, this is my expertise. This is based in knowledge in craft. This is not just happenstance. So while she's independent, she's putting her calligraphy pen in the fire to cure it, make sure there's no impurities on it, which means she's writing a lot of songs, she's doing a lot of editing, she's constantly going through and making sure she can get the most perfect version of a product that she can. So when she takes her pen out the fire, now it's time to use it to write some real fire. So the independent phase is the testing phase, making sure the pen works, making sure it's not going to clot up any ink, making sure it can withstand over the long haul because I'm not making another pen. The pen can get better, like kind of how like when ink cools down it writes different than when it's hot. The expression can change, the ink can be displaced differently, but it's going to be the same pen unless she chooses to make another pen, which would be making a new sound, which might be a time that you see her go into hiding because she's making a new pen. I need to study a different aspect of music. I might have studied hip hop to get here. Now I need to study R&B. That's when you're going to see me put that pen down and add another pen. And if you think about a desk, then you think about a pen cup holder. Because on a desk in an office, they have those cups that hold pens, and they usually have different types of pens in it. It ain't all the same kind of pen. So I'm working on my versatility, is what the Aries is doing in their career, or the fire sign. But I say Aries because Aries are associated with businessmen and businesswomen and solid business practices. The act of starting a business is very much an Aries thing to do. I'm not saying it's exclusive to Aries, but I am saying it's an Aries thing to do to start a business and be an entrepreneur, because Aries are the self-starter. As It's a very Aries thing to start a business and be an entrepreneur, because Aries are the self-starters. So because Aries are self-starters, they like to work for themselves. They are the independent sign. They are the first sign of the zodiac. They are called the babies. But just like a baby, sometimes you want to be independent. Babies learn how to walk eventually. If a baby wanted to stay a baby, they would never get off their back. So you got to think about that in terms of fire signs as well. The Aries is the independent one. So it makes sense for them to lean towards entrepreneurism, because they don't want to have to rely on anyone to do anything for them. But also they want to be in control. That's that scorpionic nature that you see in them. Because Aries is ruled by Mars, but Scorpio is ruled by Mars as well. Now, depending on if you're going through traditional or Western, depends on if you'll see Scorpio as ruled by Mars or Pluto. But Aries is actually ruled by Mars. So that debate should not be present in Aries. That debate should be present in Scorpio. So when I say scorpionic nature, I'm saying there's a reason both Aries and Scorpio are on Mars. But it's about the longevity of the I am the only person at this company. I think a Aries wants to start off being the only one because they don't want any outside opinions. So you could see them as sitting around a ring of fire and they're on the inside. The fire are these extremely protective boundaries that keep people away, which would say that you probably never know what an Aries is really working on in a business sense, because I have not yet lowered the flames to let you in. So it's like, in a business sense, I am writing my own business. I'm making my own business. I want to be my own leader. So I'm going to make sure that I am able to do so in a way that fits me. I don't want outside opinions. I just want to study, and when I get to a point of expertise, I shall actualize my desire and turn it into a business. So for right now, this business is something that is going to give you the independence you're looking for in life. Excuse me. It doesn't just have to be financial, which is one thing people think about when they think about independence. One thing they think about is how they won't have to rely on somebody else. They'll be able to rely on somebody else. And of course, there will be situations where you have to ask someone for something. But an Aries is going to try to need to ask someone for as little as possible. And it's not just because someone will throw it back in their face, it's because they don't want to have to do it. they want to be self-sufficient. Since they were young, they wanted to be self-sufficient. I barely want you to make my bottle. I want to pick my own food and I want to feed myself. It's not just about the choices that the Aries want to make, it's the fact that they want to be the one who is doing it. I want to take credit for it, just like with recording music. It might not be my studio, but I'm my own engineer. The part of the process that you get credit for is the part of the process I will be the most involved in. The credit will always come to me, is what I think Aries are talking about. But the reason Scorpios are also on Mars is because of a Scorpio's desire to run the company. The Scorpio might not want to be the entrepreneur. The Scorpio wants to run the company that everyone works for. My independence comes from having a lot of people who work for me. If I do my job right, then everything goes without me ever having to do anything again. So I really just want to work until I don't have to work, but I still get the credit for the work that I've done. An Aries wants to work so they never have to work for anyone. But funnily enough, an Aries and a Scorpio will rarely find themselves involved in an employment deal because they have conflicts of an egotistical nature. The Scorpio doesn't want to work for anyone, but the Aries feels like everyone works for them. So the Scorpio will leave the Aries company because you are not my boss. But the Aries is usually at a higher position when the Scorpio meets them. I've already worked my way to the position you want, but I don't want this position. This is a small part of a much bigger plan. But for the Scorpio, this position is my whole plan. So I'm not going to let me come in here with insecurity and see what type of employee I am, because I need you to respect me as a boss. So the problem with Scorpios and Aries in a business partnership is that the Scorpio will always be offended at the Aries fire. Because again, Scorpio is a water sign. But the Aries will rarely actually feel triggered by a Scorpio in the same way, which is why Aries doesn't get disrespected. An Aries approaches everyone the same way. This is my world. This is my company. This is how I run things. But because a Scorpio resides on Mars, they haven't yet realized that fire is not present when I'm standing next to someone who resides solely on Mars. Because again, Aries is ruled by Mars. Scorpio is co-parented by Mars. So Scorpio also has Pluto, which is empty and a place to brood. So it's easy if you have a place to go be gloomy at and go be emotional at and go be sad instead of mad. I'm sure the plans you conjure up sound better when it's just you by yourself sitting in the dark. But when you have to go to work and deal with people who have energy and excitement and happiness, it's hard for you to pretend like you're able to be the good boss you want to be. And the thing about an Aries is they will check you quick and get back into character quicker, because their character as a manager or an employee is, I'm still my own boss. So because an Aries has the confidence, desire, and character to enforce that clause will always be enforced. Scorpios are very wishy-washy with where they enforce certain things. So the beef between Scorpios and Aries is Scorpio feels like you get to say and do everything, I cannot. But the thing that Scorpio doesn't understand is I can only do this as an Aries because I've always done it as an Aries. They're not just letting me get away with it today. I've gotten away with it always. But I'm not just getting away with it. I fought for this always. So your problem is you're coming into a war late telling me I don't deserve to continue fighting for the thing I've always fought for. To be honest, I have no problem fighting for it. But if you know me, I shouldn't be fighting again, which is why Aries goes straight to 10. I'm not fighting you about this, is what an Aries says. But a Scorpio is like, I will go to war because I want you to understand I am willing to do all of these things to prove the fact that you should not have went to war with me. So the funny thing is a Scorpio becomes a victim around the Aries, and that insecurity bothers them because the whole Scorpio brand, the public facade of the Scorpio, is strong, unintimidated one. But when that little bucket of water gets around an Aries fire, it starts to heat up. And a Scorpio doesn't know how to handle their temperature. And the sad thing is, if a Scorpio steps to an Aries, they know they're getting their ass beat or they're getting chewed out in a way they can't handle. I'm going to make you cry, and it's going to be worse than that. They will be hot tears. You will never be more embarrassed than when I respond to you as an Aries. So the problem is, Aries are one of the few signs that checks a Scorpio. And again, there's 3 fire signs, but we're really only talking about Aries and Scorpio because of Mars energy. A Sagittarius won't really care to check a Scorpio because they're too lighthearted. I'm not about to argue with you about this. I'm about to go have my day. Look, a Sagittarius will leave and say you weird. A Sagittarius will end the conversation quicker than an Aries will because the Aries is already checked. You're trying to check me. You're trying to take my power. That's what an Aries is searching for in life. Who is trying to take my power? I'll make sure you never get the chance to, or I'll take it back. Once an Aries realizes you're trying to take my power, an Aries will respond in a way that makes you feel powerless. Once a Sagittarius realizes you're trying to take their happiness, they'll respond in a way that makes you feel unhappy because you understand now you're not taking my happiness from me. So for a Sagittarius, it's not about power. And for a Leo, I think it's when you're trying to take their sense of self. Because a Scorpio around a Leo is basically just you not who you think you is, because you not me. Because Scorpios are loved publicly. So basically, you have public brands conflicting. Like who you are to the world ain't the same as who I am to the world. Because I spent a lot of time making sure this is who I am to the world. So again, as a Scorpio, it's like, this is a fine-tuned brand. You're not going to take this from me. I can't stand beside a Leo because my confidence and their confidence looks different. I look like I'm trying, but my brand is based in not trying. This is supposed to be my carefree brand. Yeah, I dressed up, but this shit is easy to me. You're not supposed to know how much it took for me to buy these clothes or put this look together or who I stole it from. I'm supposed to look original and provided for. I'm supposed to look like I'm having and powerful. It's CEO core. I just went in my closet and got some shit. This is all supposed to look like a casual lifestyle, but it's fabricated, much like a stripper or an IG vixen. This life is fake. So when you get around a Leo, it's like, I know where you got those clothes from, but I'm mad. And the same thing is, the problem is the Scorpio doesn't want to ask the Leo where they get their clothes from, where they got their makeup from, or how they do anything. But a Scorpio is often studying a Leo and emulating their brand through their own. So the problem is Scorpios know they rip off Leos. Scorpios know that they're ripping off a Leo right now, but they will never tell the Leo, you are my inspiration, and they'll always use the excuse, it's because it's going to go to your head. But in actuality, it's going to go to their insecurity. I feel more insecure standing around you because I'm wearing your brand. It's like I'm wearing your clothes. If you go out with your friend as a Scorpio, so let's say a Scorpio and a Leo go out to a club, and the Leo gives the Scorpio some clothes because she don't have no clothes for this club. The Scorpio can't have a good time because she knows she's in the Leo's clothes. The Leo is having a great time because she know her bitch, the Scorpio, look great. So it's like the Scorpio is focused on the fact that this isn't mine and I feel insecure about it. These aren't my clothes, well, whatever. So now they're stuck in a negative thought loop. But the Leo is just like, they in clothes. Like the Leo is excited because you should feel better because you're in the clothes. Why is it about whose clothes they are? And that's why you have conflict between a Scorpio and a Leo, because it's like, bitch, I did this so we can have a good time. Like Leos are all about vitality. They're similar to Sagittarius in the sense that when they go out, they just want to have fun. Obviously, they want to look good, but they just want to have fun. The reason they want to look good is because they are about to have fun. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be embarrassed tonight. That's what it is as a Leo. Like, I know everyone's going to look at me. That's just what happens. I have an energy that draws people in. So I want to make sure I'm not embarrassing. If you know your photo is going to be taken that day, you could act like your photo is going to be taken. The thing about a Scorpio is no one's going to take their photo. Not like the Leo. But because you're hanging out with the Leo, now you're getting your photo taken. So it's like, the Scorpio is insecure because they're not photo ready without the Leo. I should have been able to leave the house without you tonight. But then the Leo is like, why are you always trying to push me out? Like, even though they are my clothes, shouldn't we be friends enough for you to be happy that you and your best friend clothes instead of just somebody else's clothes? Like, I'd understand if they were hand-me-downs from a stranger who pitied you or like a fake-ass friend. But it's like, I'm a real-ass friend. I'm just giving you my clothes because they fit you and I want you to look good. And it's like, now you got the Leo questioning things that they wouldn't even question. It's like, I really shouldn't even have to ask you. But the crazy thing is, the Sagittarius will ask you the questions all night. If you go out with a Scorpio if a Sagittarius goes out with a Scorpio, the question will be asked all night. Why are you being so weird? It's because they're my clothes? You want me to take them back? Because we're not finna sit here and have a bad night. And the Scorpio finna sit there and what? Pout? And the thing is, either way, the Scorpio ruins the night for themselves and they try to ruin it for everybody else. The only difference that you see in fire signs is the response to the Scorpio trying to ruin their night. And the sad thing is, the Scorpio is on purpose trying to ruin their night because I'm in your clothes. So now you see the Scorpio is inherently jealous and insecure. Insecurity doesn't always have to breed jealousy. You could just be sad about where you're at. You don't have to want what someone else has. So with a Scorpio, because they're not in their own clothes and because their brand isn't defined enough for them to actually have the clothes that they need to go out, because they don't know how to shop like a Leo, because a Leo is shopping off of personal interest in their own style, and it's actually an expression of themselves. I can't emulate your thoughts. I don't know what you're thinking when you go shopping, and I don't want you to shop for me because then that goes against the brand. Because when people say, where did you get your clothes? I want to be able to say, oh, I went to. I don't want to have to omit you from the story. So you see that a Scorpio is unnecessarily obsessed with being able to say that they were the only one that did something. But it's like, you're not the only one that did it. If they had less pride, they would be able to say, oh, my friend took me to so and so. Or, oh, my friend got it for me or me and my friend went shopping. And it's crazy because it's not that hard of a thing. It shouldn't be that hard of a thing for a Scorpio to say these clothes came from somebody else. Says like these clothes came from somebody else's shopping expertise. Like, oh, my friend shopped for me is a fine thing to say. That's a flex too. Being able to have a friend that shops for you and can get your style across is a flex. My friend cares about me enough to go and they know enough about me to pick. Those are two flexes. So you see the night out with the Scorpio and the Sagittarius is just like, fuck it, I'm still finna take pictures. You in the picture, you not. I'm gonna make sure I get pictures by myself, whatever. I'm gonna deal with your funky ass attitude, but don't think I'm going to let you ruin my evening. Now it's a game between the Sagittarius and the Scorpio. You think you're gonna turn me down. I'm gonna show you you can't. You're trying to rain on my parade. The Leo is not dealing with you tonight in the same way. The Leo is going to stand there confident and you are going to try and hide your insecurity more than you will with the Sagittarius. With the Sagittarius, you understand they're playing off of your insecurity. Oh, you want me to feel insecure tonight? Now I got to show you how insecure I'm not. Now instead of ruining the night with my mood about how insecure I am, I'm ruining it by being overly desperate to prove that I'm still a bad bitch in what I'm wearing. Like now I'm just trying to prove I can still pull niggas tonight. So now it's like, don't get it twisted, I'm still pulling niggas. But with the Leo, it's not a game with you at all because we came out together. Why would I be beefing with you tonight? So you can see that Leos deal with less interpersonal conflict. Like they have a smaller allowance for interpersonal conflict because I'm not going to beef with my friend. That's what I do with my enemies. It's like with Leos, they're very family oriented. So you're either part of the pride or you're not. Like we either came here as a unit or we didn't. And it's like, I don't mind coming out with you, but you won't find me coming out with you and thinking that you're about to treat me kindly and not be jealous. You will never again be viewed as somebody who is kind. So it's like, don't act like the Leo doesn't see you because who you are when I'm in the spotlight is who you really are. If these are the insecurities I bring out of you, then that's how insecure you are. So now I understand what I'm dealing with. So the thing is, the Leo read you and pushed off. So now you'll never again get certain information from a Leo. After that night out with the Leo, everything changes. Why? Because you just tried to ruin my life. Because you tried to make me feel insecure and you tried to make it seem like I only gave you clothes because I pitied you. Like you tried to make me feel like I did something wrong by giving you my clothes tonight, or like I did something wrong by coming out in my own clothes tonight. You're basically saying I should have dressed down tonight so you could shine. But I shouldn't have to dress down for you to shine. You should have a shine that comes from inside because that's where mine comes from. But an Aries ain't gonna really go out with that Scorpio because you're not finna make me beat your ass about this shit. First of all, bitch, you in my clothes. I'm finna beat my clothes off you and leave you on the floor. Embarrassing ass. Oh, you was embarrassed before. Now you really embarrassed. And that's why Scorpios don't fuck with Aries because they'll beat you out the clothes and leave you there. Now stand here, bra and panties, and say thank you because I'm not taking you home. And I will answer your phone when I call you again. And I'll remind you forever, I beat you out my clothes, bitch. Scorpios lose when they're standing next to somebody who got real power and real control.